All right, I want to get back to basics. I really want to get back to basics. Let's talk about really the four most basic things. I'm going to give you I'm going to give you the answers to the four most basic questions that any policyholder is going to have. This is good for public adjusters because you're going to see how I answer these questions, and this is good for policyholders because I'm going to answer these most basic questions that you guys have on every single one of your claims. And let's get into it right now in 3, in 2, in 1. What's up, advocates? Welcome back to another episode of the Commercial Claims Show. I am your host, the Commercial Claims Advocate, Vince Perri, owner and CEO of Elite Resolutions and CCA. And what we do is a lot of things, but first I want you to subscribe below. Click on the link, make sure you subscribe. We are growing this channel every single day because we have content coming out every single week. Every Content Wednesday, we have a video like this where we're going to educate you. And then every Monday, we've got a podcast. Every Friday, we've got a best of, and it's all kinds of stuff. But let's get right to it. If you're struggling and waiting forever and a day to get paid on your claims because you have to wait for the mortgage company, you have to wait for the client, you have to wait for all of these things, Ink Payments by Ink solves that for you. By simply uploading it onto their system, everything gets processed and you get directly deposited your fee into your bank account. Choose Ink Pay and make sure that you use the promo code VINCE so that you can get $299 off the initial registration fee. So go ahead and check it out, Ink Payments. We've been using it for a long time. Everybody needs an attorney on their side. So whether you're a public adjuster, a contractor, or anyone else in the insurance claims business, make sure that you have an attorney that you could rely on, that you can go to for questions whenever you need it. That guy for me for the last 12 years has been David Farber. David Farber is the owner of the Farber Law Firm, and he has been there for me from the beginning of my career until now. And I would love for him to be able to help you as well. So make sure you call him at this number here and visit his website so you can learn more about the amazing David Farber of the Farber Law Firm. And it's not 4, by the way, it's 3. It's your top 3 questions that we get asked all the time. So policyholders, get ready. Number 1, will my rates go up? Everybody's just like, oh my God, get that question all the time. And I never know how to answer it. Or I answer it and people don't understand it. The question is, if I file this claim, will my rates go up? Common way that I like to answer the question a lot of times is I'll ask the client, well, let me ask you this. In the last 3, 4, or 5 years or so, have your rates gone up? Normally they say yes. And then I ask them, have you filed the claim? And then normally they say no. So what does that mean? Whether you file a claim or not, your rates, chances are going to go up. What are the reasons why rates actually go up? The reasons rates go up, number 1, is because you are more high risk. Okay, so for example, yes, it's definitely an understandable question to ask. If I file a claim, will my rates go up? Yeah, it could, because you become more high risk. However, the insurance company is not allowed to raise your rates just because you filed a claim. If, however, you file 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 claims in a matter of a few years, then yes, you are now officially high risk. And any other insurance you go to, you're going to be paying more money than what you would have paid if you didn't. It does become a little bit similar to auto insurance. The next thing is the reason why normally that it's unlike auto insurance. Auto insurance, you are in control of the car. And if you get into a lot of accidents, you become high risk. And then you have obviously higher insurance rates. Your home, you're not in charge of driving your home. You're only in charge of basically protecting your home, which, by the way, you get drops in your rates for protecting your home. But because of that, you have no control of what goes on in your home. So therefore, the reason why a lot of times rates go up is because increase in storms. You know, that's a big one, okay? If you live in an area that is susceptible to getting hit by storms or getting hit by floods or getting hit by whatever it is, you're going to have higher rates. And then also a lot of the rate increases go on behalf of just the entire industry as a whole. So if there is 3 hurricanes one year, even if it's in another state, that could have a ripple effect to you and your insurance company having to raise their rates as well. So there's so many reasons why your rates can go up, and that's how I usually answer that question. But if you really don't want to answer the question, because frankly, I just spent the last 2 minutes, 3 minutes explaining it, you could say that you could refer that question to your insurance agent. The insurance agent is the one that sells the policy, that looks at all the different rates, that knows all the different coverages, that knows not the coverages so much as knows all the different prices for insurance, knows where all the rate hikes are coming, and so on and so forth. It really is a better question for an insurance agent. So will my rates go up? By law, they're not allowed to raise your rates as a result of an insurance claim. Okay? It's other factors that raise rates, and I would prefer that you ask that question to an insurance agent. And one thing I will mention, that if and when we have a possibility of taking the claim to litigation, I always get asked that question. Not always, but sometimes I get asked that question as well. Oh, if we file a lawsuit, will my rates go up? And no, the claim's already opened. We've already begun this process. Just because you're filing a lawsuit or just because you're hiring a public adjuster does not mean you're going to get higher rates. Question number 2 I get from the policyholder. So now what? What's the process like? What is it that happens now in this insurance claim process? Obviously, you know that's a loaded question, but I would recommend that you give the client, this is public adjuster, everything from A to Z. Give them the whole thing. Okay? And you can do it pretty fast, but tell them right off the bat, the first thing we're going to inspect the property, we're going to take photos, we're going to put an estimate together, we're going to put your whole claim package together, we're going to submit the claim by phone or by email, and we're going to wait for somebody to come out. The insurance company does have to investigate the claim, and they have to do basically the same thing that I'm doing here, and they're going to have to, take photos, take documents, all the stuff that they need. I will be there to meet them for the inspection, and from there, it's basically me following up with the insurance company. We do have a process in-house that we follow up with the insurance company every 7 days. The good part is that there are a lot of statutes and limitations that the insurance company does have that we like to hold them accountable for. How long will the insurance process take, you ask? It should take no more, at least in Florida, it's a 60 days now. It used to be 90, now it's 60 days. So we know we're going to get a coverage decision within 60 days, whether that be a payment or a denial. What happens after that? Most likely the payment will not be enough, and we will probably file a dispute so that we can get more money on the insurance claim. And then there's a whole other process after that. There is always a chance of litigation if they deny your claim, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And that's basically the life of a claim. Okay? But that leads me to another question, which is not one of the top 3, but definitely is, how long is this going to take? That is a question I get all the time. Check your Unfair Claim Practices Act. Check your Homeowner Bill of Rights in your local state, and you'll see how long they have to actually make a coverage decision on your claim. Here in Florida, it's 60 days. Should I hire a public adjuster or wait until they make a payment? Question I get all the time. Why am I going to hire a public adjuster? I literally just got asked this in an interview yesterday, is what's the benefit of hiring a public adjuster? Is it worth the percentage to hire a public adjuster? The best examples, I'll give you the simple example, and then I give the better examples. I always say, you need a haircut, right? You're not going to cut your own hair. If you want to get a good haircut, you're going to hire a professional to cut your hair. That's a crappy example. The best example you can give is you hire an accountant normally, not all the time, but normally you hire an accountant to do your taxes. Now you can use TurboTax and you can do all the taxes yourself. But if you spend the extra money to hire an accountant, what is that going to mean? You're going to end up with more money back from Uncle Sam. That's a fact. It's the same thing with the insurance claim. Normally, I would say there's a lot of different numbers out there on the internet. I would say at minimum, using a public adjuster, you'll end up with 50% more. At minimum. And at maximum, 800, 900, 1,000% more. And if my fee is 10%, or in some cases 20%, it's still worth the while. It's also worth the headache, right? Because, it's a strenuous process. Trust me, let me tell you, it's very difficult having to fight and argue with the insurance companies on a daily basis. You don't want to be doing that. You're just going to be disappointed. You could just fight with us instead. But it's definitely, I'm super biased, so don't listen to me, but it's so worth it to file a public adjuster. Like I said, at bare minimum, we will result in at least 50% more by hiring one of us. Okay? Will the claim process faster? Maybe not. Okay? But will you ultimately get a better result? Definitely. So, those are the 3 most popular questions that I get from insureds on a daily basis. Hope I answered them okay. If I did not, please comment below. Let me know if my answer sucked, or let me know if there's other common questions that you get. I can make another video about other common questions that people get from their policyholders from their clients. I had been looking for an accountant for years, and I was unable to find anybody that I liked, that I worked with, and was able to do what I needed to be done to my taxes and to my accountant. Jeremy David at Noble Wealth has been a godsend to me, my family, and my company. We have saved so much money in taxes I can't even begin to describe, and he knows what he's doing. You need to call Jeremy at Noble Wealth and get yourself the right accountant, because he's the man who's going to help you save on taxes. Because ultimately, you don't want to be making money, especially if you're self-employed, and having it all go to the IRS. Call Jeremy, call Noble Wealth, and they will help you tremendously with the entire accounting process and your tax situation from A to Z. Additional living expenses is one of the most difficult parts of an insurance claim, and the reason is it's very high pressure, and as a public adjuster or contractor, you're already dealing with the negotiating of the build-back process. You don't want to have to deal with ALE as well. Black Diamond Housing Services does all of that. They don't even charge the client. They bill it directly to the insurance company. It's all covered under the ALE coverage. So you need to call Black Diamond if you have a house that has been severely lost, whether it's like severe mold, severe water, fire, or anything like that, where they need a place to stay. Call Black Diamond Housing Services and they'll be able to take care of your client from beginning to end. So that leads me to the promo. Guys, not only should you click here, but go to EliteResolutions.com. If you're a public adjuster, we're always looking for really, really great people. We call it, Dan Sullivan calls it who, not how. I'm always looking for who can help us scale more and more. And we'd love for you to fill an application, and maybe you'd be a good fit. Also, if you're a policyholder, we've got some cool sections to the good FAQs and stuff like that on the website that you can get a lot of these questions answered. Also, consulting, commercialclaimsadvocate.com. We are a consulting firm. We are consulting public adjusters throughout the country, and I think it'd be very beneficial for you, public adjuster, if you went on that website and take a look at some of the material that we have there as well. We've also got that book for sale. So that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.